Hey guys, Modelling Weekly here. Today's video will be a little shorter than usual, though I'm hoping you guys will find it somewhat helpful in one way or another. I'll be going through 5 of my top tips when it comes to saving money in the modelling world, as we all know that this hobby isn't exactly the cheapest, especially when you look at some of the more desirable premium products. So without further ado, let's get straight into the tips. I hope you enjoy. This first tip was provided by KekTank over on my Discord, so a huge thanks to him for bringing this up. Liquid cement is a huge part of modelling. The majority of us modelers used it very regularly, both for gluing parts together, thinning down filler, and creating cast texture from time to time. It is, however, incredibly expensive for what it is. A single 40ml pot of Tamiya Extra Thin can cost you upwards of £4.50 in certain places, and it is deceiving how quickly it will run down. There is a much cheaper alternative, however. Cellulose thinners are generally used in the trade industry, though they work fantastically as a liquid modelling cement, arguably better than Tamiya Extra Thin. The bond created is fantastic and won't be breaking anytime soon. They work in the exact same way as modelling cement by melting the plastic slightly and then fusing it back together once it evaporates. Cellulose thinners can also be used as a medium for thinning down model filler, so they're incredibly versatile. In terms of downsides, the only real one is the smell. You'll probably want to add some extra ventilation if you're planning on using them. The price, however, is where the attraction lies. 5 litres will only set you back £15 if you buy from the right place, which is roughly £400 less than the price for the same amount of extra thin. Definitely worth considering. Now for the second tip. The power of isopropyl alcohol as an airbrush cleaner substitute. Airbrush cleaner is another one of those modelling commodities that people often pay far too much for, when oftentimes isopropyl alcohol will do the same job, if not better, and most importantly at a much lower price point. Bulk buying the stuff from marketplaces such as Amazon will give you the best deal possible, and once you get it, what I personally do is decant a bit into a smaller bottle so that it can be easily pipetted out when required. The great thing about isopropyl alcohol is that it's very safe to use for a huge variety of O-ring materials, so there's no need to worry if you aren't rocking top-of-the-line Harder and Steenbeck Teflon seals. This is a kind of a side note for IPA, but additionally it works really well at thinning Tamiya acrylics, specifically when it comes down to brush painting them. It's a really quick and effective way to thin the paint down and costs almost nothing to do, so it's a win-win. So that was a quick tip with the alcohol, on to the third. The third tip that I have for you guys is another chemical substitute, this time for thinning down oil and enamel paints, weathering effects, and textures. Dedicated model thinners for these products can sometimes set you back ridiculous amounts of money, when in reality all you need is some good old-fashioned white spirit. I know a lot of you will already be using this stuff actively, though I thought it definitely needed mentioning. For me personally, it is invaluable and works a dream, whilst also saving a lot of cash. If oil paints are more up your street, there is another very cheap alternative. Turpentine does a very similar job to white spirit, though it enhances oils to a far greater extent. It really effectively spreads out the pigment in the paint, creating a very nice and even result, perfect for a spot of AFV weathering, for example. Both white spirit and turpentine are excellent substitutes for modelling products, however, and I'd highly recommend picking some up and saving some money whilst doing it. The fourth tip I have for you is another quick one, and a very basic one at that, though I believe it has a noticeable amount of value. When using kit-supplied canopy masks and other aftermarket mask sets, you'll notice that liquid masking fluid is hinted at time and time again. Because of this, you might be inclined to buy a bottle, but hold fire for now. Liquid latex used as a makeup and beauty product is the same exact chemical, and is available oftentimes at a fraction of the price of modelling products such as Bioecho liquid mask. To put this price difference into perspective, a 40ml jar of liquid modelling mask will set you back around £5, whilst the same £5 can buy you a litre of liquid latex from places such as eBay. It's a no-brainer and a nice little way of saving some cash. If waiting for the latex to ship is a concern, then an alternative would be to sort it in your local pound shop. With that mini tip rounded up, let's move on to the fifth and final tip for the video. This last tip is a kind of 2-in-1. and will be focused around saving money when buying kits, a very important aspect for a lot of us, including myself. Saving cash on a kit is always a nice feeling. The first thing I'd suggest you do is check Scalemates. If you've never heard of this site, it's an excellent tool for many reasons. It helps you manage your stash, wishlist, and built kit lists, along with providing data on every single model kit ever manufactured. What we're interested in here, though, is the money-saving aspect. When you find a kit you fancy, click onto its web page and scroll down. You'll soon come across a very handy price comparison section between hobby shops from across the world. This section will include discounted prices during sales, as well as showing you where the cheapest place is to buy the kit. Very handy. Along with this feature on Scalemates, people also flog their kits from time to time. If anyone is selling a particular kit that you fancy at a discounted price, it'll show up in the same section as the hobby stores. This leads me nicely onto my next point for this tip. Check eBay. Now, it seems like a simple one, but I've been surprised in the past by the amount of people who don't regularly use eBay for kit shopping. The opportunities for discounts are endless, so you're almost guaranteed to find something at a much lower price than what you'd pay at a model shop. If you're in the UK, there is also an excellent site called KingKit. This is very similar to the concept of buying kits on eBay, though instead of buying from individuals, you're buying from a business that regulates the quality of kits being sold. There are some absolute bargains to be had on here, so definitely go and take a look if you can. So that essentially wraps up the 5 tips in this video. Depending on how experienced you are with the hobby, you may have heard of all of these tips, or alternatively, you may have heard of none. Either way, I really hope you have benefited from it in one way or another. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, it really means the world. As per usual, a huge thanks goes out to the Modelling Weekly channel members here on YouTube. Your support is absolutely invaluable and highly appreciated. If you'd like to find out more about what being a channel member entails, feel free to click the join button down below for more info. Anyway, that's about it for today. Don't forget to drop a like if you found the video helpful, or a dislike if you didn't, and I hope to see you around here next time. Bye!